Working with Caustic Free, Part 1, a simple overview.
Hi there, welcome to my Caustic videos. This is going to be my playlist all about messing around with Caustic and finding out what I can do with it. The first video, which is this one, yes, the world's most dirtiest mug, who cares? Also, I've not shaven and my hair's a bit scraggly, but I'm enjoying a week off. I've not had to leave the house today, so I'm just going to do my own thing. Anyway, that's my personal life, that's got nothing to do with here. Sorry about the lighting in the background, but we're doing this as we're losing natural daylight, and I don't have a proper studio lighting sorted out yet. That's another area that I could research. Anyway, we keep digressing from the topic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shift the video over to the left now, like that. I'm going to try and keep my eyes on the camera. That means looking at you whenever I can. Right, thank you for joining me. Right, what you see here, let's just move it across to the right. When you start your Caustic, hang on, let's just click backwards. This is your welcome screen. Welcome to Caustic Free. It's got your watch tutorials and your manual. And what we're going to do today is we're going to do just a very basic tutorial so that you get to grips with what I'm doing, so that in later videos, wine gums, I love wine gums, so that in later videos you know what I'm doing, or it's easier for me to explain. So what is Caustic Free? It's available on iOS and Android and PC. It's a rack-mounted synthesizer simulator. Basically, the simulator part, just forget about that. So basically what we've got here, let's move this back across there, is we've got in the lower right-hand corner, we've got the two buttons. One's got a series of lines and one's got a, what is it? A load of squares. Press the one with the squares, and then these are your machine slots. So you got 1 through 14, then you got an effects slot, you've got mixer slots, master slots, and then a sequencer slot. That's alright, we'll get through to that. So what we want to do, sorry if our fingers in way at camera, is we want to click on one of the machines, and this is what we've got. Hang on. We've got a sub-synth, PCM, bassline, beatbox, that's your drum kit, pad synth, 8-bit synth, beatbox, an organ synth, vocoder, which is more of an effects for your vocals, FM modular synthesis, KSS and saw synth. Each of these synthesizers is like stripped down to the bare roots of different ways of synthesizing music. I'll be going through more of that later. But you can still achieve a hell of a lot with what you've got here. So we're going to go into the beatbox. We're going to open that up by pressing on it. And then here we have a drum kit. So I'm going to select my kit by opening the top menu. We're just going to go with a 606. And we'll load that. And then each of these little drums that you see, vertical displays, they're going to have drum samples now. Ability to play. Now you can tune them so that they go up and down a bit. You've got punch, delay and pan, which is all about, your punch is how strongly it sounds, your delay is how much of a it's decay. Your decay is how fast the sound sample bleeds out to silence. Pan is whether it's left or right, and volume is self-explanatory. So we've got us drums there, and at the top we've got M and S. M is mute this one, and solo is play this one and mute everything else. They're very important tools as you build yourself up. So we're going to scroll down by taking this sidebar at the side. Sidebar at the side. It's the grey thing with the load of holes, and just swiping it up. Sorry about my finger, that's where my camera is. And where have we just gone? Alright, we went too far. So this is where we're going to build a drum sample. So if we play it, we get a tracking bar, so we know what we're playing. And what I'm going to do is play some notes, so we get that. So that's a fairly basic. Let's try moving that there. So we're not aiming to make anything that's going to be amazing today, just demonstrating the process. So up at the top as well, you've got 4 squares marked A, B, C and D, and they are memory banks. So A corresponds with the 16 buttons that you see there. B has its own separate set of buttons. C and D also. So you've got 64 patterns like this one pattern that you see here that you can use in order to create drum patterns. There's also other stuff. If I just move myself over here, is we've got grid, which allows you to lengthen and shorten things. We won't touch that right now. How do I get out of it? We've got selecting notes and editing tools, which allows us to delete notes. So let's delete a note. Select that snare one and delete. That's gone. We can also double tap. There we go. So what we're going to do now is going to press pause at the stop button, and we're going to go down, move that over there to the right, down to the right, and then we've got mastering for each channel. If you notice, at the first channel is now called Beatbox, so we can change the volume of it, and we can change the reverb and delay. Let's play it again and give it some delay as an example. That sounds like it's coming from really far away. I don't really want any reverb on my drums, maybe a tiny bit. I like that, that gives it a bit of atmosphere. And then you got your top 3 grey dials are your bass, mid and high. That's my tablet receiving a message. I forgot to take it off the internet for this. Right, so we pause that, stop it, and then we've got mastering for the entire track that we're using right now, and I don't really have much idea what this is at the moment, so I've got to go off and learn. And then what we've got is the sequencer, which allows you to build up the patterns like I mentioned earlier in your banks A, B, C and D. And then what we can do is go pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, pattern 4. Well, they're all called A1. Alright, and then what we've got is, you see the at the bottom of the screen where it's in yellow and it says pattern. If you press that again, it turns to song, and now it'll press the entire, it'll play the entire song that you've come up with. So there we go. Right, so next thing we want to do is put just basically a bit of melody to it. So we're going to press this button again and go for machine slot 2, and I'm going to do a bit of sub-synth. Alright, and that's now going to appear in the rack, and I need to press that white arrow at the top right screen, and yeah, and here we are, our first synthesizer. Now right now it doesn't do a right lot. I actually like that sound, but what you can do is you can go for different presets. And any of these buttons here on screen, like the dial here, that dial, this dial across there, these can all be changed so you can form your own presets. Once you've got your own preset, you press your little floppy disk icon up there. I like how we still use floppy disks, even though floppy disks have been obsolete for God knows how long. And you can create your own sounds and add them to the list of presets for later use. So what we're going to do is we're going to find something interesting. Let's go with all dressed. I don't know. That just sounds terrible to me, but let's use it anyway. So let's just so we can, oh, it's got a polyphony of only 1. Right, the polyphony bit, it basically means how many notes that it's going to play at once. So it can play 4, whereas before it could only play 1. So, yeah, so let's just transfer that on here. So, what did we have? Let me just get on my keyboard because there's something I want to... So we're on middle C at the end of it. Okay. That's probably why it didn't sound too good. Where's middle C? C4. Right, so we want to be... I don't know where we want to be, actually, to get this. C4. C5. We want to be after C5, but not before C6. Right, so we want to be... Hang on. or switch back to pattern. That sounds terrible. It's probably not going to work the way it works on piano if the tablet picked that up properly. So I want to increase the length of this note, so I've highlighted it with orange and now I press the size key to the right of the memory banks. I can move it like that. Let's just move it by 2 notes. And the other thing you can do is you can just press the size button and then drag the size to the right after the size button instead of going back to your note and changing it. So let's try this. And then the next one I wanted to do was, so, oh no, both of those need to be there, don't they? So size again, and size again. I can't see what I'm doing here. Can't do it. I can do it. Like that. Yeah. Interesting. I wouldn't ever dismiss anything that you're doing just because it initially sounds bad, because if you invest your time into something that initially sounds bad, it might start developing into something better. So yeah, right, oh hang on, I'm moving the wrong thing, so we need to repeat that there, don't we? So we need to be there. Oh, come off of the size button there, and is it there? It might be, you know. Yeah. Size buttons. Size buttons. And we done it again, haven't I? I'm a little bit rusty on using this actually. I've had about 5 or 6 weeks off from doing any kind of music work. I just didn't feel like I was well enough, because this does actually take quite a bit of energy off you, because you're thinking and then you're experiencing it, and it's all about emotion and it's all about planning and whatnot. And I can't scroll across. Right, so let's get rid of you and let's smooth you a bit. Let's smooth you a bit. Yes, I keep thinking my camera is up at the top right corner where my face is. Right, that could work. Let's see how it sounds. I'm actually copying a little bit of music here from a video game, but not enough for anyone to guess where it is. I might actually do a cover of it using this, you never know. Wine gum, cup of tea, everything's good. So the only way I'm going to rescue this this sound, I reckon, is by clicking on the thing with the massive squares, going into my mixer, and giving it more reverb, and then playing it. Still sounds terrible to me. Right, I wonder if... That's interesting. I didn't know you could do this. Oh dear, what am I doing? I like it. Okay. Right, so let's put that into the into subsynth, not the subsynth, the sequencer. That by itself is going to be very annoying, so I'm going to have to right. So basically, the next videos in the series, in the playlist, are going to be all about how we use each individual synth, right, in more detail, so that we learn how to do things like, you know, adding harmony to it. In fact, we could do that now. No, I won't do that now. And, you know, just getting a basic overview, because all you've seen here is bits and pieces, and it's notoriously difficult to judge the potential of something based on just what you've seen. It's like judging a person based on their first impressions. So, oh, excuse me. I'm going to leave this video here at the moment because I know I've rambled on a bit. And what we're going to do, let's move this over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a series of videos once I've retrained on here and I know what I'm doing. And the challenge will be is I'm going to turn what we've just done here into something that's interesting to listen to without losing that first initial thing. So I don't know what else I'm going to change, but the sequence of notes for this section is going to be the same. Anyway, I am going to get off. I hope you enjoyed this, and you too can download Caustic, and you can play along if you want. It works on your mobiles, it works on tablets. If you got it on Android, you can download it as a demo without the ability to load and save and export your files as finished MP3s or MIDI files. But the memory on it is always going to remember if you're working on one song. So you can shut down this app, for example, reload it without having to save anything, and it'll just come right back on with it. So you can finish a song if you want, and then fully explore the features, and then decide whether you want to carry on with it. By the way, if you're going to plug a MIDI keyboard into it, it's only going to give you 90 seconds to play with the MIDI keyboard. So... And if you're going to use a MIDI keyboard, there is latency issues on the Android operating system, but there are ways around that. Anyway, this was a very basic overview. I'm going to leave some tutorials in the description of this video to help you out if you want to download it. And I suggest you do. I think it's brilliant. Right, I'm going to get off. Have fun, hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my videos because that's going to really help me out grow the channel. Alright, thank you very much. Goodbye.